Jimmy Lewis here with another exciting episode of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, where luckily Chris Reel was able to come on and talk about what to do when you submerge your motorcycle. When the outboard motor falls off your car. Anyways, if you get water in your motor, you're going to need to listen to this episode. Logan has a new board with Rooster Endo. Matt actually did a good job on the show, and overall, I think it's probably at least a 6 on a scale of 10. So if you want to find out for yourself, you're going to have to listen right now. Live.
You're live, yeah.
I was adjusting my mic. I'm trying to get this show off to a good start. I want the mic pointed in the right direction. Thank you, everybody, for joining in right at the beginning of the show. You guys are the best, and that's why we need your questions. I know that you have a burning question that you want answered, and we're going to get to you first because you're special. Right, yep. Logan? This is Logan Tyler. He's my co-host. Off to my right, off the camera, is producer Matt.
Who is producing right now, trying to fix problems that he already found.
We got problems. It's pretty normal. That's what we do. We solve your problems and our problems live without being distracted or confused by it. That's why I usually like to have a little bit of tonight we're drinking Sincuro. This is a very fine tequila that was gifted to me from a friend. So actually, you got this. Did you get this for me, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Syncro, yeah. It's really good. Logan, your dad has some good taste in this, so cheers. How's your week, Logan?
Slow but good.
Slow but good. And that's how you're riding the motorcycle these days? Or are we talking about the dating life?
I thought we were talking about the school part.
Oh, school. Like the riding school. Or your school.
My school.
Right. Logan is still a young school student. You're in high school. You would be a sophomore now?
I think so.
You think so? Oh, they don't really classify that anymore?
They do. I just don't pay attention to that. It's just 10th grade.
Just 10th grade. I think that's sophomore.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. So, when we talk about school, I always like to say, what did you learn today?
Romeo and Juliet. Like the
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I still, and like I say, go to school and steal something every day. Steal a little bit of knowledge, but I still don't know any of the lessons I learned from anything to do with Romeo and Juliet. In fact, I got aggressive about it. If I think back to it was like, it made me want to punch people. I don't know why, because I didn't understand. I didn't get it. And, this is a motorcycle show, right?
Dirt bikes and motorcycle-related products.
Got it.
And audio sync issues as well.
I think what happened was I didn't see any use for this, and I still, to this day, for me, I learned about it enough to know I know where you're at, but it teaches you perseverance. There's just times you're just going to have to sit through a bunch of bullshit, kind of like this monologue right now. And you're going to have to get through it to get to the stuff that you want.
Hey, Jimmy, are you in a chair or a soapbox right now?
A soapbox, I think. I don't know. I just had to listen to a whole bunch of stuff that sounded like Romeo and Juliet about a solar meeting when I was listening to the guy who's attempting to close down our riding area to put solar panels up in it. So, little as usual. But, so that's my advice to you. Just sit through it and don't punch anybody.
Okay.
But you did learn something in wood class, evidently.
Yeah.
Because what are we introducing tonight on the show?
The new Rooster Endo board.
The all-new Rooster Endo board that's going to replace that janky thing that we sawed together in a few minutes. This one looks like... so they're letting you use power tools.
Power tools, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have to cut that by hand.
Mm-mm.
I remember when I never took wood shop, but I remember when I took metal, they'd only let us use the hand tools for the longest time. You did I think we cut the dustpan. Everybody makes a dustpan, right?
Yeah, the dustpan.
You make the dustpan, and I think we were able to cut it with the shear brake.
Not mine.
They tin snips. Yeah, I think they but you had to do the lines, and you had to stand like 10 feet back while the instructor cut it on the lines that you drew out. So it wasn't really like an electric tool. It was a big giant press. You could still cut fingers off in it though. So stand back. But welcome everybody. We're gonna get right to the questions. Do we have anything yet?
A bunch of hellos.
We received 100 messages on Restream, Matt. Does it have anything to do with our audio issues?
No, but that's another thing that not 100% sure where that came from. I'm a good producer, I promise. I know everything about everything that's going on in this show.
Yeah.
With 80% certainty.
I'm calling Mike Shirley right now because we're going to try to make this show even better.
Even better?
Hopefully.
Okay. Sounds good. We have to pitch more idea too.
Hello, Mike Shirley. You are live on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
Well, hey, you guys got all your hamster wheels running right. That's pretty cool.
Well,
good job.
You're live for at least as long as my phone battery works, but we'll.
Yeah. Well,
so Mike is
great conversation. Keep it short.
Mike Shirley, friend of the show, owner of Rally Navigator, which is currently your online software-based way to make road books for cross-country rallies, TSD rallies, all different kinds of rallies. Am I correct?
Yeah. Fun project. You play with it. I play with it. Get some use, and we get to go ride some dirt bikes and some road book routes. So yeah, it's been a fun project. I'm working on that since 2013.
And I'm diving headfirst into rally boot camp. It starts literally tomorrow for us out here. So I've been using the super top secret RN2. You might know what I'm talking about.
Ooh. Oh yeah. It's only gonna be top secret for a bit longer. We're about ready to start letting that out for some beta testing coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, so a few of us have been going through the learning process of how to make a better rally navigation map book creation software. Of course, I just complain. I use it and I complain about things. And
he's gone.
He's gone. Does that mean my battery's too dead? Or did he hang up on me? Probably hung up on me.
I think he hung up on you. Or you hung up on him. I see you use your phone. It's very
okay, we're back.
I hung up on you, didn't I?
Oh, okay, maybe. It wouldn't be the first time.
So I was just saying I complain about stuff and magically it gets fixed. So it's going to be really cool. It's all the improvements you want in the old one if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've been working. We just had our list of ideas for a long time, and we first started working on that back in 2013. So the way technology changed, it's evolved quite a bit. And, the current Rally Navigator all works on web base, which has got some pluses, but it's got some minuses too. And we're working on some new software that's going to work right on your local computer, and that's going to be more stable, faster, and more secure. So been working with Dave Peckham on that. He's doing all the coding, and Dave's run ICO, Rally Management Services, been around the block a lot. He's just a wizard on software.
So on in the rally scene here in the United States, and also, like I said, I don't know what he does, but he goes into the code and he does the. Matt knows a little bit about this.
Yeah, I know a little code.
Matt knows a little code, but this is why we called you earlier. We have a thing that we need to show you because it needs some. I think it needs to get outsourced to somebody who knows more than us, but it's part of this rally thing. It's a brain tool. It's really cool. But we're going to use it.
What are you doing in a brain tool? I don't get it.
Well, because I need to exercise my brain, and so we came up with this idea. And Matt did some coding, Python. He called it. He did some Pythoning in the background. And it does some stuff. It does some things that you need to do while you're rally navigating. So it's pretty cool. And I gave him my level 2 today, and then his brain started exploding. Explode?
Yes. Yeah. It was very
kind of like Logan's brain is exploding right now. While he's
that's just puberty, I think.
No. He's doing his show notes. We like to call him. He's trying to stay up on top of the game.
Which he should have his phone ready for the show notes
because this show is brought to you by. Look at he shifts gears real quick. Hey, this show is brought to you by Rally Navigator. For sure, Rally Navigator's been helping out Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Mike's been a guest in the show before. Of course, we'd like to thank Yamaha, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, Taco Moto, Seat Concepts, and Bulletproof Designs for helping us out there. I use all of that stuff. Almost every single one of those things I just said I use, and I think they're all good. So what about a YZ 4-stroke, Logan? Do you know anything?
They are for motocross riders driven to dominate. The Yamaha YZ line of 4-stroke bikes are built for victory.
Mike, does he need to put like more gusto behind that voice? Just pack a little punch?
Yeah, working on slam some Mountain Dews before the big read.
Yeah, just little gusto. So let's put some behind it.
Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new and improved for 2022. The YZ450F and YZ250F bring the performance with powerful 4-stroke engines.
Say it like you have a powerful 4-stroke engine. Like pushing.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah. Give it some vroom, okay? So start with reduced.
Reduced unsprung weight and new suspension settings. For the look of a full factory ride, both the Yamaha YZ450 and YZ250 come in exclusive Monster
Hold on,
Energy.
I got something for this. Keep going.
Yamaha Racing Edition graphics.
You better go
packages.
fast.
And you can take precision tunability to the next level with the Yamaha exclusive and industry's only free power tuner app. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today. Find your Yamaha YZ and enter victory zone.
Yeah, I got my voice-matron. We're not a real podcast unless we have a voice-matron. Logan, do your homework. Start practicing that to 125, the 2-stroke read. I always just say 125 because it's so much fun. Okay, Mike. So we're going to contact you about. It might be in addition to the Rally Navigator family.
Okay. No, we're looking. We've got a lot of projects we're tying in with. Luke's working on the Tower One electronic roadbook reader. We're tying in with that. Mike Johnson has got his Rally Comp product. So it's actually we're trying to tie in with a lot of the different hardware. And we've got just the feedback from you and a lot of our core users. It's really been a community effort getting all the ideas cataloged. And we've just got a laundry list of improvements to make. So Dave spent his winter times computing and coding up in Washington, and in the summertime he's raising baby goats and God knows what up there. So hopefully it's a long, dark, cold winter, and Dave can spend a lot of time
doing more coding.
And we'll get this thing jamming together. But no, it's been a fun project, Jimmy. I'm pretty stoked to have you guys using that. You're doing some pretty cool stuff with the guys you're training. And I might come down and hang out next couple of days if you guys are playing around dirt bikes.
Oh yeah, come down. No, we can use help. We need. We'll talk after the show for sure. Because we got some pretty fun. We got some really fun rallies. They're super confusing, some of them, but they're super fun too. And I was going to tell people, and I probably should say this before I start bashing on the dual sport, the Barca de Vegas dual sport guys. Because here's your potential rally customers. Like, imagine doing the Barca de Vegas dual sport. It was actually done as like a rally map book, and there used to be a high cost to entry with equipment, but now the equipment's getting a little bit easier to access, and you could actually make that whole ride a little bit more fun. If you didn't like crash in the water or crash in silt, but that's a whole different thing. I should now plug my riding school, Logan, right? My riding school. What's it?
MillersOffroad.com.
Yeah, that's the website. We do training. You're a coach, remember? Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah, good training. I took the school. I liked it. I learned a lot. Braking, off-camber riding were two of the big things I learned from you. So that's been a big help.
Braking is important. Slowing down before you ride into a river is important. Mm-hmm. Actually,
crash slower.
Hey, so guess where all the carnage happened, Mike? Of all the people to be talking to about this. Remember Afton Canyon? Remember Afton Canyon? Mm-hmm. Your fan blades do.
They're still down there.
I know that. I bet you the people were crashing hit your fan blade that broke off. So Mike drove through this, and it was the same depth it was. It's funny because I heard people say there wasn't water the week before. The water there is pretty much always the same height. It just and if you want to make it lower, it's real simple. Crawl through the reeds in the middle of it and push the reeds out of the way, and then there's like a natural dam that forms in there. You have to crawl pretty far in there, and it takes a long ass time for it to flow down. How do I know this? Because I've done it before. But anyhow. Mike went in there with his truck and just started driving in there and had a nice, good little pace. He wasn't going too fast or anything. And, he had a wave going. And just at the very end, it looked like he slowed up. And I and that's when your fan blades, because it was how hot was it that day? 120, 117?
It was blazing,
pretty
blazing
warm.
hot. Yeah.
Well, anyways, he slowed down right at the end when he started coming up, and the water, the way he was pushing it, the water managed to go back and splash, like the wave came and splashed underneath the hood of the car and went up, and the electric fan blades, he had dual electric fan blades, just came off.
Ate the radiator.
Too.
It was dead.
Yeah, but yeah, so we towed a car back from Afton Canyon back to here.
Yeah.
After
my truck's broken down like 3 times since then, so that whole saga is like ancient history. So
it doesn't even count. So
I just try and get it from point A to point B.
Right. Well, I saw a lot of different. There's a lot of videos of guys just attacking that thing in a lot of really different weird methods that maybe we'll get into later. But thanks for coming on the show, Mike. It's good to talk to you again. We'll talk to you about our app and our soon to be riding plans. We're gonna have Chris Reel come on later in the show, and
Chris is a sharp guy, man. He's a sharp dude. I've watched a bunch of his YouTube videos and the bike prep and his presentation, all that. He's a charger. So
he's gonna tell us.
We're
gonna talk about, both of us are gonna talk about, like, after you drown your bike, what to do. We got some pretty good. He actually turned me on to something I wasn't really sure about, and I'm gonna ask him about it, which is pretty cool. But we're both very confident on the idea. Once your bike stops running in the water, don't try to start it again right away.
That's about all I know.
It was funny because a guy in the show talked about how his bike went in the water and had a problem, and I'm like, well, you didn't try to start it. And he goes, yeah, I did. And I go, oh, your rod's bent. He's like, nah. And sure enough, a week later, he wrote back and said, yeah, you're right, my rod was bent. How'd that happen? I'm like, I told you. It's
nice.
Water. It's hard to compress the water. So
yeah, cool. Well, I'll tune in for Chris. I'll go start packing my stuff, and I'll plan on heading to Pahrump here and go hang out with you guys and have some fun.
Sounds good, Mike. We'll talk to you soon, and I'm going to tell everybody like why they need to start paying attention to some of this rally stuff. If you are, just for instance, like just a regular guy, and you want to go kind of do something different with your riding, making a rally is a really fun thing. I was kind of surprised how much Matt took to it. I just said, here, Matt, go try this. And
stroking my ego again with rally.
Well, you did a good job. You went and rode a rally that a lot of guys go out and they take like 3 hours, and you did it in an hour and a half. So it was good.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Well,
yeah, to think you just,
real compliment. Wow.
That is a compliment. It's true. He did a good job rallying. You want to try rally, Logan?
Not yet.
No, Logan, you should try it. In all seriousness, it's really fun.
Maybe you wait till you get older. Like all of us old guys are doing rally, so you can't do it. Actually, you're not allowed to. I'm not going to let you. Yeah, you can do it. You've done it. You did the Pahrump to Dakar that one day. So Logan can't do rally, and I think that we got some questions, right?
Oh yeah, we got questions. If Logan, you want to pull it up?
Yep.
Logan's going to answer them.
And this is why we don't have a soundboard, people.
Time for Logan's questions.
That's why we don't have one.
Facebook user.
Okay.
Is it worth upgrading to a newer KTM from a 2014 500 EXC? Yeah.
That's a really good question. And so he's talking like a 20 or 21 or newer, brand new. Let's just say brand new from a 2014. And as my good friend Ray Conway always likes to say, there's a lot less motorcycle there because there's a significant amount of weight drop between those years. Now, if we're just talking stock for stock right now, if you just took a stock 14 and a stock 2022, they're pretty much the same bike for most riders. I don't think that there's any significant performance advantages that either one has, because I'm pretty sure that the older one would probably make a little bit more peak horsepower, but I think the drivability on the newer one stock has gotten a little bit better. And then when I start talking about the weight difference, most people, when I see buy a new stock one, they add all the weight that the manufacturer took the time to trim off in very, very unique and sophisticated ways. I see them add it right back on. And not to say that that's right or wrong. it's just that's kind of what happens. So the advantages and disadvantages, you will hear all over the internet that the suspension is not nearly as good, and I wholeheartedly disagree with it. I think the suspension overall the performance has actually gotten a little bit better. It's the same. It's just that here's what happened. The bike got a little bit lighter. And when the bike got lighter, I think the guys that really paid attention to it could actually feel that it did what a lighter bike did. It's like riding a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke. You ride the 2-stroke and the bike feels like it's a little bit dancey, and you ride a 4-stroke and it feels planted. Well, the new KTM that's 14, 18 pounds, whatever it is lighter, is a little bit more dancey. And it's not because that they, made the forks a single-sided, it's rebound on one side, compression on. It's not because of this, and they didn't cheap down or dumb down the stuff. I'm pretty sure that they saved some money on the production side based on what they did, but I don't think they lost any performance. And this goes for the Huskies and as well. But is there a difference? You're getting a newer bike. I think that's the biggest thing. You're getting a newer bike, and if you could find a 14 with 50 hours on it, you'd probably be in the same place in about a month, because your new bike's going to have 50 hours on it and net. So it really depends on the biggest difference is, so when we start talking about modifying, the biggest difference is that the 2022 will be harder to modify than the older one. I mean, the ECUs are all locked, but there's more stuff connected to the ECU, talking to the ECU about, what kind of emissions are coming out of the tailpipe, and it's making different adjustments. So it'll be a little bit harder to modify. It basically comes down to you need a different ECU, but do you really need to modify it? And when you say you want more power, I just say turn the throttle farther and you'll be happy. So that's my answer. They're the same bike. It's just the newer one is newer. I own a 12, a 13, a 14, an 18, and a 20 or 21 or something like that. So I have a pretty good grasp of what I'm talking about. And I didn't get a 16 because nobody's offered me one cheap yet.
Less Death 69.
Less death.
Jimmy, would you take a KLR 650 or a Tenere 700 to run the New Mexico and Colorado BDRs?
Tenere. And I'm not just saying that because Yamaha is a fine sponsor of the show.
Ooh, that's a
I've said this before, that the Tenere is the new KLR 650. And I want the newer, better thing. I think KLR is a great bike. If you're just getting into this adventure bike thing and you just want to kind of tippy toe in and just get one that'll kind of do it, I would get a KLR, because especially if you're new, because it's just the more user friendly power and kind of more simple. I don't know. They're all kind of the same these days because the KLR is now fuel injected, so it's up there with all this stuff. But yeah, Tenere every day, because it's like double the performance of the KLR, and that's what I want.
Garrett Carlson, are there goggle secrets that pros know to handle dust, mud, etc., that us mortal folk might not know?
Yes. Yeah. So the guys who know this are the goggle guys, like the guys that prep goggles for the racers. And at the races, there is such a thing as a goggle guy. But I learned about the dust and stuff, and we did everything from put baby oil to Vaseline around the, on the foam, and not the foam that goes on your face, but the foam that's like kind of the venting foam, for rain and mud. There was different ways to tape it. And a lot of these technologies have actually evolved into, when racers were doing certain things, the goggle manufacturer would say, hey, we need to integrate that into our products, like the visors for the roll-offs or the tear-offs. And a visor basically is like a wind. It's like a flashing or a gutter, a rain gutter, so the water can't get underneath the film because then the film sticks. And so there's a lot. I ought to get a goggle guy. John Knowles would be awesome to have on this show from Scott Goggles. He's a really good guy, and he would know everything there is to know, probably way more than I even know. But let's see. Should I just give him I wish he's on the chat. So like, what specifically are you looking for? I mean, and the trick, like with the Vaseline and the baby oil, is knowing the right amount. And that just takes some experience, because you put too much in, it blows through, and then you've got a bigger problem. And if you're not very careful about how you put that on to alleviate the dust, well, guess where dust goes? Any place you've touched. And that usually includes the lens. So there was tricks for, which no fog to use. And also in my experience, because I was able to use so many different goggles when I was testing stuff, and I wasn't racing when I was sponsored, but there's some brands that have excellent no fog, and there's other brands that it's horrible. There's some brands that have a little bit better optics, just the shape of the lens, things like that. So I wish that there was a way we could do really high quality testing. In other words, I wish there was a way to support the time and effort it took to do this again, because there's stuff that needs to be tested like this, like goggles. That's a great thing. Boots, for instance. Helmets that's really expensive and kind of a little subjective, but and even when you start going to like air filters and air filter oil and different, I mean, there's all the pipe shootouts. People love this stuff, but it takes time to do it right. Now these guys, nobody does any of this stuff anymore because
it's all pretty good, huh?
A lot of it's good, but there are differences. And I don't want to say that it's kind of like different flavors. But anyways, if he comes back with a specific question, I will try to answer it. But yeah, there's tons of tricks, and it goes from how tight you run your goggle strap. Sometimes tighter is better, but too tight is bad. To what you put on the foam. So that's it.
Johnny Campbell.
That Johnny Campbell.
What should I tell two Nitro Circus monkeys that have an idea to race the Baja 1000 on a tandem pit bike?
Oh, come on!
Yeah, bring it on.
I'm going to take that phone away from you.
I'm going to find better ones. Read that. Two
Nitro Circus monkeys.
Nitro Circus monkeys that want to do it on what kind of pit bike?
Tandem.
A tandem.
No, yeah.
Like two guys on a single bike? Oh, they're gonna build. It's like a tandem mountain bike.
I would guess, yeah.
Tell them to go for it. Like, what do you have to lose other than you told them to go for it? Well, they probably want them to pit them or something like that. A tandem pit bike. That's the stupidest thing. But then I know some donkey that. What did I do? Oh yeah, we raced an XR 100, but that was fun. Like, I mean, you could actually ride that thing. So there's always somebody looking to do the next stupid thing, and it just the stupidometer just gets wound tighter all the time, and there's always somebody that's going to one up. So if those guys do it on a tandem thing, somebody will do it on a triple, and it's all game on. Next one.
Justin Hansen, 450X headwork.
Is that a question?
Yes.
450X headwork. So, like, I should ask Johnny Campbell this, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about a Honda 450X, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it say Honda?
X.
X. That means Honda. Okay. I think so. I'm just trying to be clear.
Well, hold on. The question says best solution to minimize adjusting valves for Honda 450X headwork.
Oh boy, those are two totally different. So headwork to me means like porting the head.
Yeah.
Or maybe putting bigger valves, or like there's all kinds of headwork can mean a lot. So let's get to what's the whole question again?
I don't know. I read everything I have.
You read everything you have?
So I'm reading from the same docket.
Sounds like a problem. Computer's your problem to me here.
Yeah. So no, the question that I have right here is best solution to minimize adjusting valves for a Honda 450X headwork.
Hold on. Attention. Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Best solution.
These views are going to be dropping.
I knew I could make this show worse. Just give me some opportunity here. So the best solution to not having to adjust the valves?
I believe so.
Don't let dirt go past your air filter, and don't over rev it. This works for any 4-stroke. Even my XR100. If I don't let dirt go by the air filter and I don't run on a rev limiter, I never have to adjust the valves. This goes for my KTM 350 that I looked at today, and it looked like the whole valve cover, because it's seeping a little bit of oil, kind of like what caused our buddy George to replace all the gaskets on his. It looked like it was actually growing on top of that valve cover because it hasn't been off for so long. And I don't need to because it starts and it runs fine. And I don't over rev it, and we don't let dirt go by the air filter. So is that the answer that we're trying to?
I believe so. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
That works. Question.
That works on any 4-stroke. And just because it's a Honda doesn't mean it's any different than it's a KTM or it's a Yamaha or it's a whatever 4-stroke. Those two things work just fine.
Kel Postel.
I used to race against his dad.
Are you putting on a rally Jimmy?
I am Jimmy Rally. So, no, I'm not putting on it. We do rally training. So I'm not putting on a rally.
Facebook user, do you have any idea if us poor Californians will have any green sticker 2-stroke options in the future? I want to buy a KTM 300, but what I've read makes me feel that 2-strokes are endangered species over here.
I do not believe that there is enough financial incentive for the manufacturers to push to try to get them what you would call like green sticker legal. I just don't think it's there. I think the writing's on the wall that they can make vehicles that you can buy, be it 4-stroke. The word 2-stroke is a bad word. And it doesn't have to do with how clean it is, because they're actually pretty clean. What is really hard to do is to get them to start up and be clean. Once they're running, they're clean. But the warm-up cycle on a 2-stroke is a little rough for the emissions regulations. And there's ways to do it, but they're expensive, and all of a sudden it's the kind of stuff that people would take off instantly, and that's not the way the manufacturers can produce vehicles anymore, blah, blah, blah. So the short answer is no. I'm pretty sure that there will be ways for you to. Oh, that was a Tecate, the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. The Gulf of Mexico.
I'm pretty sure there'll be ways for you to be able to ride a 2-stroke in California if you are smart about it. But I think if you're if you're not that informed, like in other words, if you're not listening to this show, you will probably not have a very good time riding a 2-stroke in California. But if it's the kind of person that like is smart enough to listen to this show and then seek out decent information, there'll be ways. There will be ways. And I just moved to Nevada. But I'm going to have to ride my damn 2-stroke through a solar field, or in a solar field, evidently, the way it looks now. So, okay.
Ricky Brabeck.
That guy.
I think it's the imposter one.
Okay. The imposter Ricky Brabeck.
Yeah. What year bike was that for smoked on the dry lake bed?
He's talking about the Husaberg 570?
Yes.
It was a 2008. Yeah. It was roosting. That was a rooster noise, by the way. Yeah. Roosting across the dry lake bed.
San Felipe Bob. Hey, Jimmy Lewis. Beta 300 forks that were topping out kind of funky. Adjust the rebound slower a couple clicks. And it worked good. Thank you.
So that helped, but I'm more curious about the fork oil level than anything, because a lot of times, especially in an open cartridge fork, everything's splashing around, and if the oil level is a little bit low, it can kind of at the very end cavitate a little bit, and there's not the oil. I don't know how to explain it. I can visualize what's going on, but sometimes like having a little bit lower fork oil level, so less oil in the fork can cause this, but also a little bit of cavitation can cause this. So I've always found, and Honda forks do this as well. CR450, the new CR450X, I'm like hypersensitive to it. If the fork oil level is set like a little bit too low, they tend to top out, and you get it to where I don't actually mind a little too much oil. I'm not saying too much per manufacturer's specs, but I'm saying too much for most people because they feel like the fork doesn't bottom out properly. I like it to bottom out like very little, if any at all, and adding oil can help this. So check oil. But yeah, that's usually a couple clicks of rebound, or it's amazing what that'll do. Because you're just slowing the thing down. It's like, it's all that spring pressure is pushing back down, and you're doing it so it just doesn't get too much speed and slam into the end of the stroke. When you're doing those massive wheelies on that Beta 300, I'm sure, Bob.
USA Outdoorsman.
Wait. Pronunciation one more time, Logan.
Outdoorsman.
USA Outdoorsman?
Yeah.
Okay. Say the whole thing. What's
USA Outdoorsman?
Okay. Got it. Just because I can't ever remember names, so I want to hear them clearly once.
A new 450L or X or Husky FE 501. I have a Vortex to put on one or the other. Currently own a Gen 1 450X. I enjoy pounding the whoops because it's the only thing I'm good. Is it an upgrade or downgrade?
Why are you asking me? I'm the guy that hates pounding whoops. So you're asking a guy that doesn't like what you like what I would do. So out of those options that you just gave me, and knowing what you liked, if it's interesting. If you liked the older generation CR450X, all of the bikes that you just listed are going to be a change. The L would be the biggest change. The X, I think the Husky would be the most similar, because the newer Hondas feel like they sit up a little bit taller, where the Husky actually rides a little bit lower. But none of those bikes have that kind of that stability and weight feel that your older bike has. And the fact that you have an ignition to put on it doesn't change much for me, other than the X and the L become a little bit more similar. But at that point, it's like, do you need the license plate or not? And maybe you have one on your old bike and you need a license plate on your new bike. So there's a lot more. This question could go a lot deeper, but yeah. Say what I always tell people: just get a KTM 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I should tell them to get a Yamaha WR or FX.
Mm-hmm.
You are sponsored by them.
Right. Yamaha helps us out. But
right.
He should actually get a 2-stroke, Logan. What do you think?
If he got a Yamaha 2-stroke, he would experience pure performance and exhilarating power with a full lineup of Yamaha YZ 2-stroke bikes. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new for 2022. The re-revised YZ 125 makes for the perfect step-up machine, featuring all-new engine, revised 6-speed transmission, new brakes, and new suspension settings.
And it rips even for fat dudes.
Yeah. Improved rider ergonomics and new aggressive styling, and more. The YZ250 also delivers improved rider ergonomics, new front and rear brakes, updated suspension settings, and aggressive styling. For a truly race-inspired look, check out the YZ250 and YZ125 Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. And for the next generation of riders, the YZ65, YZ85, and YZ85 LW deliver big bike specs in a smaller package. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com. Find your Yamaha YZ and enter Victory Zone today.
That's right.
Money.
So yeah, those bikes are all good. It's all good. So we got Chris.
I believe so.
We have a special guest.
Well, hold on. He's still muted, so I don't know if he's actually there.
He could be there. We can bring him into the show. I'm going to go ahead and why don't you answer these goofy questions, or have me answer them? What does Michael Penton want to know?
You discovered that the 2 additional strokes were not really beneficial, so you were removing them.
Do we know what that came off of? Where that came from?
Story
Facebook
today?
post on the picture of the image.
On the Yamaha YZ250FX motor that I have a part on my bench. That's Trevor's motor, and it had a lot of additional time on it. And I took it apart because Trevor was smart enough to identify the knocking noise that was coming out of it as being bad. So he stopped riding it, which is when your motor starts making a new noise rather suddenly, it's like suddenly maybe in just a few seconds it changes its tone, or you go to start it up after a ride and the next time you start it up, it makes a substantially different noise. It's talking to you. So it has nothing to do with how many strokes it had. But I removed the creator of the sound, which happened to be the crank, and the rod. The big end of the rod was done. It was time. It was making a knocky noise. So that was the one we were testing the GYTR head on. So it had a lot of time on it, and I don't remember whether we put a piston in it when we did that, or when we did the head or not.
I think so.
We did put a piston in it. Yeah, and I checked the rod when we did that. And I'm like, it was like, yeah, you know what? Let's just run it, because I think it was in the upper end of the hours, but it was like not, I basically I was lazy and I didn't want to split the case at that time. We just wanted to throw the top end on and ride it, which is what we did. So it was time. The thing was ridden hard. And okay, is Chris ready for us?
I think I'm ready.
I believe he is.
Yeah.
Good evening, Chris Reel. You're welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
Hey, glad to be here, Jimmy. And good to see you, Logan, buddy.
Yeah, Chris is our expert on oils and some other things, like what to do when your inside of your engine gets wet.
Yeah. And been a little bit of that happening last couple of weeks.
Right. So it's amazing that they can put on the driest, dustiest, longest dual sport ride in the country, and you could put 100 feet of water in it.
Well,
and then hell didn't break loose. The seas didn't part, is what we could say.
Well, some guys got a little bit of a riding experience in the silt, and they also got a little bit of riding experience in the little bit of water that was there. And some guys had a good time, and some guys had a wet time. But all in all, it was a pretty good event.
I didn't see much. I didn't hear much about this because I was off the grid the entire weekend, and then I kind of came back and someone posted a video, and I didn't realize that they were actually able to go through Afton Canyon on that ride. I just know that with all the permits and everything they had to go get is difficult, but I'm like, wow, they went through there, and I know that water crossing it's basically cabled off on both sides. You have to go through a channel, and there's also a railroad bridge across it. And I know that people go there and they look at it and then they'll go up, and which is really dangerous, because if you've ever seen how fast trains go through there, I would not advise getting anywhere near that railroad trestle. But then I saw some videos, and I saw a lot of different styles, most of them not very not the best styles or the best decisions made in the way that everybody decided to attempt to grow across the river. And then I saw the picture of the conga line on the other side of the river of bikes upside down and people trying to kick bikes that didn't like that they were kicking. And it would look like a mess.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mess. But, I really have to hand it out to the guys at District 37 and the dual sport community. They tried very hard to play by all the rules and have an entertaining ride. And there's so much that goes into that event that sometimes their hands are tied, and that's just where they have to go. So they really did I would call it a stellar job, but some guys, a couple sections were a little bit challenging for some guys, and that's what an adventure or a dual sport ride is. It's a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, and I think there was an easy way around this, correct? Around the water? I believe
so. I didn't look at the whole course map. I kind of went off grid this last weekend also. But that's, they will never leave you absolutely stranded with no way around. And so I'll have to say that it wasn't a completely self-inflicted wound, but some of the guys took an adventurous route. And we've all done it. So, I'm not saying anything bad about the guys. It's like, I've been the guy upside down in the creek, so, it's all good.
Yeah, we've all done it. And like you said, that the fact that they, if anybody who's complaining has any idea of the effort that goes through to get those permits and to execute that event, they wouldn't be complaining anymore. They would be actually, especially if you're, really bitching on social media, which is what people love to do. I always say, well, do it yourself. What you're complaining about, go fix it. Put on an event that's better than the one you're complaining about, or whatever. I don't even know what the entry fee was for this particular event, but go and, haven't been a race promoter before, and I've had everybody, including their mom, come up and tell me how to do it better. And I said, "Oh, is that how you do it in your event?" And they look at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, is that how you do it? Does that work at your event?" And they always kind of like look at me like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, I know, that's what I mean. You don't know, you have no idea, and there's reasons. But anyways, kind of back to the we'll get to the water too, because so after watching a couple of the water videos, which I actually they weren't kind of crash videos, they were just kind of oh boy, you could see it start before it happened. But then since I started watching this, I guess, Facebook decided to show me more, and we started watching the silt videos, guys riding through the silt and crashing and doing ridiculous stuff. And I always, so the funny thing about those two situations, water and silt, is, believe it or not, they kind of act the same when you ride through them. The way the bike reacts and the kind of stuff that happens, they kind of start, both of them in certain instances. Well, number one is you can't see what you're going to hit. This is the number one thing. And this is coming from my riding school background. You can't see what you're going to hit. And so I don't care whether it was Afton Canyon water crossing or these silt ruts. There could have been a rock, the size of a basketball that you're going to torpedo into without seeing it. Whether it was in the silt or the water, it could have been there. Would you do that if you could see that? Would you torpedo into that rock?
No,
Chris?
Not on purpose.
Okay. So that being said, so let's just say you can't see what you're going to hit. How fast do you want to hit what you're not going to see?
Well,
Like, let's just kind of roll. Like, should we do it at 2 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour or 20?
Well, a high-speed crash hurts, so a low-speed crash hurts less. So I'll take the low-speed crash hurting less. And maybe if I've saved a little gas in the tank when I do hit something, I'm not going so fast that I become the passenger instead of the rider.
Right, but don't you just get over the back and gas it?
For a little while, that works. No, it doesn't. Then you wind up on the funny video clips.
Yeah. So in the silt, it's like I saw some of these videos and I saw it was complete whiteout. These guys had, you know, their GoPros on and they're posting all these videos. They're like, yeah, the silt was horrible. And, and you can't, it's a full whiteout. You can't, they're just riding behind their buddy. It just goes, and you're like, okay, I got a better idea. If that's fun, why don't you just close your eyes and ride? Because it's the same thing, but then at least you can open your eyes and see where you're going. You know, when you're in the silt following your buddy, and then you slam into your buddy because, well, like I said, there was a basketball size thing, or more often than not in the silt, it's imagine you're riding down a road that has curbs on the side of it, and the curves slowly come together, and then you get scared and you lose your balance and you lean into the curb. I mean, I don't ever see anybody doing that on the side of the road, like, you know, when they're driving through a neighborhood with a curb. But in silt, they manage to do it all the time, generally because they can't see. But there's a lot more, or because they're also aquaplaning on top of the silt, which is a whole different scenario. But you can always go really slow through the silt and ride right through the middle of it, believe it or not.
When the bike starts to push in the silt, you know, and you're going too fast, it's, you know, you can see the crash. You know it's coming if you're the rider, and if you're watching it on the video, you can see when the bike just starts veering, and it's an understeer condition that's going to eventually run out of road.
Right, and but okay, so let's get back to, I think everybody, you know, we actually saw some questions kind of pop up on you know, some of the different forums. They were saying, hey, we went in the water. All of a sudden, my bike fell over and it got water in it. So water, the bike tips over and a couple of things happen. I'll just kind of explain from what I know, and correct me if I get wrong. The bike tips over generally while it's running, and it takes a little while for that water to get through the air filter and kind of get in. But then again, it's kind of hard to find your kill button when it's down underneath the water, but it's going to suck a little bit of water in there. And generally it's going to stop running pretty quick. Just boom. Is this correct?
You know, and you know, at that point, if it stops running, you know, you're not going at real high RPM and it stops running fairly quickly, it's not catastrophic yet. It hydraulically locks the piston because the water doesn't compress, and the water usually turns off the spark. So usually it stops the engine pretty quickly, and so, you know, that's kind of a good thing.
Yep. And one other thing I want to point out is and this is if you haven't desmogged your bike, you're not going to suffer this as much as all the guys that just desmog everything. When you turn a hot motor and then you cool it off very quickly, and there's, you know, hot oil inside of it, and there's, like, you know, you've vented the cases and the breathers to atmosphere. You know, I mean, it's not emissions compliant anymore. That stuff cools down. Some water likes to go into those passages too.
Very,
correct?
Very true. And you remember that when the engine stops rapidly, it cools off pretty quickly. So it will siphon water, you know, into the engine, you know, because it'll pull a little bit of vacuum. And if you're sideways in the creek, you're going to have some water that's going to get where water shouldn't be. It's going to get inside the engine, and the crankcase breathers go to the crankcase, or they go to the transmission, and that's where the oil lives, and that's where the water shouldn't be, and so then we kind of have something to contend with.
But if your bike was all legal, like a totally legal compliant bike, it'd probably be pretty difficult for the water to get in. Would you?
Yes.
Would you say?
You know, as a matter of fact, I've got here's a charcoal canister which vents the tank and also captures some of the crankcase ventilation, the escaping hydrocarbons. And that's a pretty good water trap. And the way the hose routing is on most of particularly the adventure and dual sport bikes, really the hose routing is, it has some natural, some purpose bends in that hose to act as a as a water trap, and you know, from the manufacturer standpoint, a way to let some of the vapors condense on the sides of the hose and actually run back into the engine. So the the bag of snakes hoses and a diagram that's on your motorcycle telling you that there's a lot of hose here, it actually works in your favor in this condition. And in reality, that some of the new fuel systems that contain the pressure, it does some other things as far as performance and fuel economy to the good. Where with our gas boiling, it kind of contains some of that. So there's some advantages having the vapor recovery stuff on the vehicle.
Yeah, and Chris is an expert. He understands all this stuff, and the reason I kind of brought that up and said that is people are so quick to just tear that stuff off as if it's like, oh, my bike isn't going to run properly with this on there. And I've seen more bikes that do not run properly because it was taking off, because there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be compensated for. But at the same time, it can save you sometimes if you don't know what it's doing or what you're doing. So sometimes these manufacturers are not dumb. They think about some of this stuff when they put it on. So before you just go and just start cutting hoses and throwing stuff in the trash can, be aware of this.
And the charcoal canister, all of the emission control stuff on particularly on the under 600 cc motorcycles. Some are coming with a catalytic inverter and a charcoal canister and maybe a pulsed air system. Most of that stuff, if you start talking about weight, you're talking about the weight of a set of handguards. It's really not that much. And having a smart ECU that has an oxygen sensor and a mass flow sensor to help compensate for things it does build performance. Now, if you're building a race bike, of course, that's a whole different story. But if you want a good running dual sport bike or a fairly compliant motorcycle, when you start unzipping that stuff, you better know exactly what you're doing, because you will go slower in many cases, and you can do some damage because the bike can be very, very lean.
Yeah.
And
yeah, no, it's. I didn't want to go off on the emissions side of things, but just I was going to say, here's a perfect example where that stuff actually may, it may actually do you some good. It's going to be way harder for that bike to suck water in places that it shouldn't be because of this stuff. So let's say now I've got my fully race tuned whatever bike it is, and I take a little dip in the old Afton Canyon River. It's down on its side for take me 15 seconds to get that thing pulled back up, and then the first thing I shouldn't do is hit the start button again.
Well, you're gonna. You're gonna. You can't help yourself. I can save it.
Can't help it.
No, you should not. You should not hit the start button.
And don't go under pinning it. like the less RPM your motor has when it starts going for the drink is going to save you exponential dollars based on your RPM when that water finally gets in there.
When the water finally gets in there, but I wanted to kind of point out before we get too buried into this, is we have a lot of new riders experiencing off-road and adventure, and the manufacturers have some small adult sized motorcycles for new riders and ladies and re-entering riders. And so I would encourage them to take some lessons, and if you're crossing a swift water running stream, get off on the upstream side of the motorcycle if it's going to happen, and then when it does go pear-shaped and you got to pump the water out, we can talk about that. But
we'll get it. So as a guy who does run an off-road riding school, I'm going to tell you that the number one thing about when you come to a water crossing you're curious about, this is the best riding tip I can give you: let someone else go through first. and if they have a bad time, you may not. I sat there and I watched this and I looked at it and I saw guys going way off to the right. I'm kind of just some of my spidey senses. I'll bet you the middle of the road would actually be a little bit better, but you just never know when someone's gone through there, whether it's in a truck or on a motorcycle and spun their wheel. Like I said, you can't see. So it's when you can't see, it's a little bit of a mystery. So okay, so I've tipped my bike over. Luckily, it wasn't going that fast. It stalled out. It's underwater. Now I picked it up. It's probably best to push it out because we don't want to bend the rod, break a piston. So we get it. We're going to get it out of the water, and then the next thing in my world is I'm going to take the air filter off. I am going to, if my spark plug is ridiculously hard to get to, and trust me, on some of these bikes now it is, I would actually find a way to spin the, using the transmission, if I could, to spin the motor back and forth to see if I can get it to open up a valve so the water can drain out, and try to spin it slowly and get the water out so that the motor will turn over slowly. To drain as much as I can. If I can pull the spark plug out, I pull the spark plug out, and that makes it a lot easier to get the motor out, the water out of the motor, or at least out of the combustion chamber.
And one of the things, I've worked in on a variety of pieces of equipment, ranging from generators to sunken ATVs to off-road motorcycles to jet skis that have gone over the big wave falls, or people that have lost outboards off the back of a boat. And so the biggest thing is get the water out of the whole system. And so when we tip a motorcycle over in the stream, take the air cleaner off and pour the water out, and very often the way the head pipes are, there's a gulp of water. If it's a two-stroke, there's a bunch of water down the pipe, down in the low spot. And if it's a four-stroke, the way the head pipe is wrapped around, the muffler will continue to drain water back into the engine. So kind of fights you. So my mechanism is to tip the bike and try to pour the water out. So sometimes I can lift the front end up and do a massive wheelie, or I lean it over on its kickstand and keep pushing it around that one. But get the majority of the water out of the bike, and then start undressing parts to so I can spin the motor over, and removing the spark plug is the best. Putting it on the kickstand and rocking the rear wheel forwards and backwards to try to trick some of the water out of the cylinder is good, but you don't want to really try to start it yet.
Yeah. So the idea, like I said, water doesn't compress, so it can bend and break things. So we don't want to do this. And generally you're in a remote place, and you're going to have to ride it out. And I've done this before. So, you get it kind of cleaned out to where it will be free. This is the point when I know that there's a lot less water in there. There's no water that's going to pour back in some way, shape, or form. Then I will go ahead and try to start the bike, because at this point, I know there's probably some water in the bottom end in the transmission or whatever, but I don't have a choice at this point. I'm going to get it started, but I will do it kind of carefully. If it's electric start only, you're kind of at the speed of what the starter is going to do. But with a Kickstarter, I'm going to kind of kick it over slowly and make sure it doesn't seem like it has additional compression, or a significant amount of additional compression, so that it doesn't break something once it gets going, and there isn't a gulp of water someplace to suck in and cause an additional problem. So I want to make sure my intake track is free of water, and there's no water in my exhaust system that's going to be able to kind of come backwards in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Yes.
And when I have to do it, when I get it to where I think it's going to start, I'll start it without the air cleaner, because usually the air cleaner is soaked, and so I'll beat that on a tree or a rock, or I'll get the water out of that, so I'm not pulling more water into it, and I'll take my time and get it running, and it'll spitter and it'll sputter, and it and when you have a lot of water in the say it's a 4-stroke, you got a lot of water past the breather, it's in the in the oil, you look in the sight glass or you look in the dipstick tube, it's going to be milky, and you're going to have a little panic attack, and then it's going to foam some more as you rev it, and it's going to push it back up through the breather, and it's going to make a mess. And so at that point, you've got it running, and I let it kind of warm up and do its thing for a little while, and then I'll put the air cleaner back in and suck the water that's going to be trapped in the air cleaner. I'll suck that through and dress the motorcycle and get to where I can start doing some flushing and some cleaning. But if it makes bad sounds, then I have to face the music of a bailout somehow, some way. But and if you have a dual sport bike, that's it's got the emission controls on there. It may go down the road just fine for a few minutes and then just stop. And that's because the charcoal canister may be plugged with water and your gas tank can't vent. And so open the cap, let it take a gulp of air, and try to start it again. And that, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that where the guy goes, "Man, you're magic, made my bike run." No, I just let it get fuel. And so the canister will purge itself, but once in a while it will just block vacuum. So you can't pull gas into the engine.
Yeah, and it's the same thing sometimes when bikes boil, when they boil gas, and sometimes it can make it worse by disconnecting the vent line, but at the same time. So you get it running, and like I said, with a lot of the new electronic stuff, with a lot of electronic stuff on there, sometimes something happens. But the other thing not to not forget is that you may, if you've drowned it well enough, you may actually have water in your gas.
Oh, for sure.
And this it takes a little while for it to get in there, and generally it doesn't get a ton in there. But if you get a significant amount in there, depending on where the pickup is, and on old bikes, if you had a petcock that had reserve, you were always safe until you turned it on reserve, and then all of a sudden you go to reserve, you turn it on, all of a sudden your bike starts running like crap, and that's because the reserve petcock that's where all the water sat. And generally, for a little bit of water, I found that the pickups are high enough to where a little teeny tiny bit of water is not a problem, but you get we'll call it a significant amount. You get some water in there. Like if you poured like a half a cup of water into your gas, you'd probably get the effects on a fuel ejection bike right away.
Yep.
Just based on where the pickup's at.
And a lot of the fuel filters on the fuel injected bikes, gasoline is less dense than water, so gasoline will go through the filter and water will not. And so that becomes sometimes a challenge with a fuel injected bike. So that
so it actually blocks, the water will block the gas from getting in to the fuel pump. Right. Hey, but here's the good thing about the ethanol gas. The ethanol will actually suck up some of that water into the gas and allow it to still run, right?
And so you take the good with the bad, but really you gotta get past your drama and get to the place where you can start doing some surgery. If you think you got water in the gas, well then you drain the fuel. If you think you got water in the oil, you drain the oil. Then you're gonna have some residual in there, and then you have to contend with that.
And here's where I read your paper, and we should definitely get a link up to the paper that Chris had, and he talks about basically some of his jet ski rescues from you were at the big wave competition. It was is Taupo, right?
I've done a decade down in Tahiti at Chopo, and we're talking serious big waves, and down in Puerto Escondido, Mexico, we're talking 20 footers are an average, and you can get a 40-foot sleeper on the World Tour, and you can get a 50 or 60 footer on the big wave tour. So these are mountains of water, and my guys, the rescue guys that have to go in and fetch the surfers, I mean, they've got to dodge the waves, and they got to pick up the the victim and get them on the sled and get them out of there. And waves come about every 15 or 20 seconds. And so we talk about the response time, that guy's got to go. And sometimes he doesn't go. And the ski and the driver and the surfer all take a ride in a wash machine. And tumbling a jet ski, it's a 1,000-pound vehicle, 4-cylinder, a couple hundred horsepower. And when it goes over the falls and rolls around a dozen times and gets slammed up on the beach, it's pretty unhappy. And so it makes a little tip over in Afton Canyon kind of a non deal. But the result is the same. You've got water in the engine, you got to get it out. Most of the time on my assignments when I'm there, I'm with a good friend of mine, Jerry Fouts, and some guys, and you just have to make do with what you can get, basically at a service station. We're at the end of the paved road on an island in the middle of the ocean. You can't just call in somebody. You have to fix it. And so, draining the oil and putting some other oil in there, and typically I'll start a flushing process. And
you brought up using both ATF and diesel fuel as a couple of ways to get the water out. So now we have milky oil, and whether it's in a transmission of a 2-stroke or it's in the bottom end or everywhere in a 4-stroke, now you have this white milky oil, and you need to get it out probably as soon as possible because it's going to corrode. It's going to corrode and rust. So you suggested a couple different things. Why don't you kind of explain?
Well, 2-strokes are easy. You got a clutch, your clutch pack, you got some gears, you got an in and an out. And you got a quart of oil. And so what I'll do on the 2-strokes, if I can't get to it right away, I'll drain the oil and I'll put some diesel in there and just kick it through, just rotate it, just kind of wash it. And what the diesel will do is it will help bond a little bit of the the water with that, and so I can drain it out. And so I'll do a little purge with diesel on that, not running it, just spinning it through, and then I'll go into ATF flushes on the 2-stroke, with the cheapest ATF I can find, and automatic transmission fluid is very, very high in detergents and dispersants, and so it will entrain the water and it'll turn it into a frothy, red, nasty, foamy milkshake, and I'll run it. I'll put it on a stand and just let the bike idle and the rear wheel go, and then
This is even on a 4-stroke. You'll put the ATF. No, you're still on 2-stroke transmissions.
2-strokes, then we'll move on.
Okay.
And
Got
so I'll do that, and with the 2-strokes, ATF, 2 or 3 changes with ATF. I'm a pretty happy guy. Then I'll put some real, transmission fluid in there, some gear oil in there, and run it and see where I am. But usually I'm good to go with that mechanism, that method in a 2-stroke.
After use, like a single or a double flush.
Yeah, I'll always do 2 flushes.
Yeah, okay. 2 flushes. Yeah, get the thick stuff out, and then have it go in one more time to kind of collect the rest of it, and it gets it done.
You're good.
I used to race my YZ125s back in the desert racing days with ATF in the transmission. So it's not detrimental to it.
It's really
I mean, they work in your car.
Well, it works here. The only thing about the new bikes and ATF is the clutch and ATF is very, very low viscosity, and there isn't a lot of shock load protection with the gears. And in the old days, 20 horsepower out of a 125 was pretty zoomy. 25 was pretty zoomy, and now and now not and the gear case was pretty big, and the clutch pack was pretty big. So horsepower wasn't that high. Now with the smaller gear cases and higher power outputs, the shock load protection on the gears and the loads on the clutch really justify real transmission fluid, transmission oil.
That information there is worth the price of admission to listening to this show, which is, it's generally free, but then you have to listen to me. So it's like negative, but I'm glad that you explained that very well. So there's a reason why we have motorcycle specific transmission fluids.
Yeah. And if you want to look at a spec sheet on ATF, it's about a 7 to 10 weight. If you compare it to motor oil, and a transmission oil is like a 10W30 most of the time. So it's significantly more viscous, and it has a different chemical structure, so it protects the gears better. But in a pinch, ATF, the clutches really like ATF a lot. The bearings not so much. The gears definitely not so much. And so, if I had my choice between running straight ATF or straight motor oil in a 300 TPI just to get me by, I'd go with motor oil until I could I could go and get something. If I'm at, the AutoZonal and I need something, and I'm going, I need motorcycle transmission for, that guy is not going to know what I'm asking for. So I'm going to, he's on transmission fluid. It's red. It's on aisle 7. And maybe I'll take, motor oil that's on aisle 5. But that, that's my go-to for 2-strokes. And so, just this year, we tipped a nice 300 over up in the, up by, Tioga Pass or Sonora Pass with Jerry and some guys. And he's a good guy. He tipped over and I go, man, I'm next on the trail. And I think I'll get him out and we'll find a way around, because my stubby little legs weren't going to go through that rushing river. So, you pick your battle. So our next battle on tonight is 4-strokes and oil and training.
So yeah, so you've got most of the bikes now are 4-stroke. So you got your 4-stroke, it's tipped over, oil's all milky. You get it someplace where you can do it, and I have run them. I'm trying to think of it's only been a couple times, but I've had whether it was from a impeller shaft seal going out and then all of the coolant getting into the motor that way, or somehow getting drowned and a lot of water inside of the motor. I've run them for the better part of an afternoon to get them to wherever they needed to go. And then I began the draining process, and those motors did not seem to have any significant problems because of it in the long run.
And usually they won't. Just don't let Logan wash your motorcycle with a garden hose without the plug in the in the pipe. Because he'll fill.
Oh, he likes to pressure wash the bearings. He's in the bearing pressure washing phase. Well, because I tell him, hey, don't spray these spots, and then the bikes aren't clean. Then I say, clean the damn bikes, and then he fills up the bearings. So we're having a teeter totter with this. But enough about Logan. Okay. Let's get back to so drain that oil out. Put what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go get some cheapest oil I can find, put it in there, and run it again, and run it for not very long, like 5 minutes.
And I usually put them on the stand, and I like to kind of speed up the process. So when I'm doing that, I'll put a couple.
Oil filter. By the way, oil filter out.
Yeah.
The oil filter comes out with the oil change. You do not and I've even done it where I have left the oil filter out before, because I'm just trying to pump as much oil through it as quickly as possible, and I make sure I run it through the gears so everything gets spun.
Yeah. And if you want to do a really good flush, I'll put a couple glugs and that's a scientific measurement, glugs.
Of
ATF.
You know what a glug is, Logan?
Yeah.
Got it. Of ATF in with that cheap motor oil, because that will help entrain the water, and it'll make me do less oil changes.
Okay. So a couple little, so your a glug would probably be in 1,000 cc.
A couple
or
ounces.
Maybe 200. I was going to say 200 cc's.
Yeah.
That'd be on the high side. It's not going to hurt. It's not in there for that long.
All I want to do is I want to make some suds to get the water stuck to the oil so I can drain it out through the cork.
Right. And usually where the water seems to reside is on it's like if it usually splashes up in my experience, 'cause I pulled motors apart that have had water in them, and it sticks to the top. It doesn't like, it's not, sometimes it's down on the bottom, but it seems like it's the watery stuff sticks to everything above the oil level.
Yes, it does. And that's why you kind of want to make a foamy mixture to do that. And we'll see water, when we flush the engines a few times and we'll pull the cam cover off, and there'll be water up, trapped up around the cam and the valve buckets. And so, I want to make sure that I have, I have enough foamy residue in there to capture the water and to get it into suspension so I can drain it out. And if I'm really pressed on time and I can't get to something, we've got to let it sit overnight. It's been upside down in the ocean. And I just can't get to it, and, without doing an all-nighter. I'll do what I can, and I'll go to my diesel, my diesel flush, even in a force choke, which takes longer to get the oil back clean, but it stops it stops a lot of the corrosive activity.
So explain this diesel flush. Like, how would you do this?
I would put about 15% of the oil. If it's a quart, I'd put, I'd go, maybe, 3 or 4 ounces of
that's three glugs. Roughly of diesel mixed in with your cheap oil.
And it's going to thin the oil, so you don't really want to try to run it too much. You just want to slosh it, with a starter or maybe at an idle. And if I can do that and get the water, somewhat off of the parts, then I won't have rust that quickly.
So, because really, so what you're really trying to prevent is that water to go in there and actually like start doing some corrosion. So that would take place specifically like on the bearing surfaces, like on the balls and the races, on the transmission gear faces, like inside the big end of the bearing, the plate bearings.
The thing I'm most concerned about are the soft metals when it comes to corrosion. So that's that's piston, wrist pin bushing, wrist pin bearings. Steel components will get some surface rusting, but if we get to it right away, it's not as bad. But the soft materials, aluminum, in particular, really likes to flour and get corroded pretty quickly. Not so bad in fresh water, but seawater is
yeah, add a little salt.
And it never happens in clean water. It always happens in sandy water. So I've got grit and debris and.
Hey, I promise you that water in Afton Canyon has a fair amount of bad stuff.
Oh, it's alkaline, and that's as corrosive as acid. And so washing that corrosion off. I mean, you live out in the desert. The alkalinity is if you don't maintain your bikes, they rot before your eyes. So getting that water and the corrosive materials out, however I need to do it, I will. But my go-to is ATF in motor oil, and if I have to really flush something a lot, I'll go to diesel. But I'll do a lot of oil changes until I get no foam on no milky on the stand, and then I'll go ahead and run it around the blocker. Go for a gentle ride, and then I'll come back. I'll dump the oil one more time and put a new filter in, and feel pretty good about myself.
Right. So we have a question that somebody asked. He says he has a Yamaha XT225 that had the flywheel and magnets on the stator explode. So basically now he's got pieces of magnets and stator throughout the bottom of his motor, and he wants to know how could he go about cleaning this? Should he use a diesel flush?
Well,
I'm going with once you got the magnet pieces in there, they're going to stick to everything, so it's not going to flush out. But
he's into removing. If I had that, I would take the clutch cover and I start unzipping the outer covers, and usually there's a screen down in the bottom where you can start gathering the big pieces. But when you have a catastrophic failure like that, and you got lumps and chunks floating around, it's a lot cheaper to go ahead and fish those things out now than let them make more pieces and have to fish more bigger pieces out.
Yeah, the thing about like with the water and stuff, the water's going to go everywhere. There's nothing that the screen or the filter filters can kind of plug, which is not a good thing either. But with the water inside there, and that's the other thing to kind of be concerned about is that if that water can plug your oil filter, generally in most of the oil filters there's some sort of a bypass if the pressure builds up and it can go through, so you're not going to be screwed for lack of a better term. But when it starts to be pieces and stuff, the filters are really good at stopping those pieces. But if you pull your filter out and you see pieces on it that aren't just normal wear and tear, that's time to tear the motor apart, because you're going to have a bigger problem. In fact, the YZ250F that I pulled apart today, the screens and the filter were clean, and the rod had started to disintegrate. And so that's how small the pieces are. That you actually had to cut the filter and look in between the pleats to see the pieces of the surface that were causing the problem. So it may not be, if you see big pieces, something else is going on in there, and it's not going to get any better very quickly.
It's a lot cheaper to if you've got a stator that's gone bad and the pieces are in there, it's labor. But it's a lot cheaper than letting those pieces float around and spoil the piston or do some real damage.
So the gist of this is that number one, I like to say, watch your buddy go crash in the river. Don't you do it, and then it's his bike, unless he's borrowing one of your bikes, and then you find somebody else to ride through there first. But when it comes down to it, it's like we kind of went through the steps. Be smart about, trying to drain all the water that you can out before you attempt to start it again. And then when you get it to a place where you can start doing some flushing, use cheap oil to flush it out, and don't be afraid to add a little bit of ATF into your transmission parts or diesel into your 4-stroke if you have the opportunity.
And don't run it very long with the diesel in there, because of course you do have, if you when the engine gets hot, the diesel is going to off gas a little bit. It's going to become volatile, and we don't want you to blow something up. So really, it's a flush.
It's a flush, not a running.
And so you just want to, you're trying to undo a bad situation and get back out on the trail with the least amount of drama. So being able to go to the auto parts store, and buy an oil pan, and a half a case of cheap motor oil and a bottle of ATF, and some rubber gloves and a 6-pack of cold adult beverages. And
can you get those
right next door to
now?
My auto parts store?
Auto part.
But then getting back to the gas. I mean, if your bike starts running weird, start thinking about, do I have water blocking a fuel injector filter? And just chase the drama around before it leaves you stranded. And take a riding lesson, and before you tip over in the water, and the new riders, the small frame riders that are out there trying some stuff, they need to experience this, but they also need a little bit of help. So the older guys could kind of mentor the younger guys, the younger ladies, and help them make proper decisions. I think.
Just get over the back and gas it. Just go, just pin it. No, I hate it when I hear people say that. No, I'm stoked that we have a lot of new riders. I'm glad that a lot of people went out and took the challenges and they're trying these things, and hopefully it does wake them up to like, hey, other guys wrote up that, other people wrote up that I can do it too, and you can. And if you just kind of, there's a reason why there's professionals out there like yourself who can tell you how to fix your motor or, prevent your motor from doing further damage to your motor. And I can kind of help you with your riding, and hopefully collectively we can all, make a better experience. But thanks again, Chris, for coming on and drying us out on this topic.
Adventure riding is an adventure, and we're kind of all in this together. So you help somebody out, and before I sign off, I'd like to, a dear friend of mine has just retired and kind of moved out of the area, and I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Preston Petty, the inventor of the plastic fender. He's retired. He's moved down to Texas. He was a member of our vintage bike night community for a long time, and I miss the man, but he's decided to make a lifestyle change, and I just want to let him know that those guys in California and elsewhere kind of miss the old gentleman. Really an intelligent, strong mentor and a true gentleman. So here's to you, Mr. Preston.
Preston Petty was awesome. I got to meet him a couple different times at different industry events and stuff, and he was one of the early adapters of electric bikes. Thinking the guy that invented the plastic fender jumped on the electric bikes pretty darn quick. And it was interesting to talk to him about that a little bit, just because what he felt about him, and he wasn't afraid.
No, an innovator isn't afraid to try things even if they're not ready for prime time. And you and I both get to try things occasionally that aren't quite ready for prime time. And so right. with the electrics, never say never, and keep a good attitude and go ride, have some fun.
Hey, how would have some of the electric bikes that you knew about done with that water crossing?
Really? Don't laugh about that. I tested. I'll drop a name. Electric Motion Trials bike. They've got a video out where that sucker goes completely underwater. I mean,
right? Doesn't need air.
It doesn't need nothing, and it's kind of fun. So don't.
I was talking about some of the more janky ones that are I'm just going to say start falling out of the sky, or actually they're falling out of shipping containers. But
those
I know some of those you wash them with a garden hose and you could get electrocuted.
Burn your house down on the charger.
burn the house down. But, whatever, same thing.
They'll find their place. I don't know if they fit.
I don't think they're, like I say, I don't think they're just ready for prime time right now, but they're getting there, and it's not gonna be long. I mean, people are gonna kind of figure this out, and there's gonna be a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles. But then again, I think when you started riding, you had 2 shock absorbers on the back of your motorcycle, didn't you, Chris?
Yeah, they were straight up and down, and then we leaned them, and then we leaned them forward. We thought
you laid them down.
Laid them down.
That's when I started.
Then we
laid down.
We laid them down, moved them forward, and it's been an amazing journey of the things that we've learned and where the vehicles are today, and we're very fortunate to have the choices that we have. We can find the perfect motorcycle for the type of riding that you want to do. If you're a track guy, you got to.
I totally agree. I can't agree with you more. And it's funny because I always say, people say, "Oh, that motorcycle's horrible." And I go, "Might be horrible for you, but it's the perfect bike for somebody else." And it's a matter of, they wouldn't have built it if they didn't think they could sell it. It'd be stupid to actually try to do it. And if they think they can sell it, there's somebody out there for that motorcycle. Might not be you, but that's where you just got to do a little bit of education, and hopefully there's enough information out there to grab it by the horns and go ride.
And try different color fenders once in a while, and sometimes it's the right choice and sometimes it's the wrong one, but make an informed decision and have some fun.
Yeah. I mean, dirt bikes are fun. I've always said it. Motorcycles are fun. So, well, thank you again, Chris. I'm sure in a while we will have to get back at you. Somebody will have some good petroleum questions, and I'll have to quit saying, the best kind of oil is having oil in it, because I've stole that from you.
Yeah, and we're going to have an announcement here pretty, in not too distant future. Maybe one of these days, we can revisit this stuff. And I know guys have questions. I know you stuttered and stammered a while ago on injector oil on 2-strokes and clutch oil and stuff like that. So, So we'll have to pick that up. When we have a little bit more time and have some fun. Maybe go out. I want to see the dunes again. I haven't been up there in a little while, so I'm about ready for a road trip.
Sounds good. Well, we will see you out here in the near future, and thanks again. And we'll, Logan. Hopefully, did you learn something?
Yes.
Okay, good. You're free to go, hey. Chris. You've taught Logan something more than he learned in school.
Well, today, I really appreciate Tech Talk Taco Tuesday and the guys that tune in, and we'll see you down the trail.
Okay, see you. So awesome. That was Chris Reel. He has DPS Technical Services. He is a petroleum engineer and a longtime friend. And if I have oil questions, or actually he used to come out and help us sound test motorcycles. He's an expert on sound. He does a lot for fighting for your right to ride, even in that crazy ass state of California. If it wasn't for guys like Chris, him and a lot more guys like him that are constantly, working with the regulatory agencies that are always trying to overstep their bounds, and they at least use some science to keep them in line. So good for that. So I think we're doing pretty good. Do we have a lot of questions?
We did actually, but should we do Roosterendo?
Should we do Roosterendo, Logan?
Sure.
Don't we have a new board to show off?
How many do we have? What are we at here? We're gonna burn through these. Did you practice reading them?
No, I just look at the
it's blind react.
I look at the thing and then see if I need to.
Do you want us to show everybody your new board?
Sure.
Can they see it on the screen? It's hidden, isn't it?
It's kind of hidden right now. Yeah, I can hide the chat, and you can kind of see the corner of it.
It's up in the top, and it looks pretty nice. We're gonna have to work on the setup of the studio. We'll tune that. So Logan actually made it bigger than it needed to be.
Way bigger.
It's got a lot of housing. What are we doing with the old one? We're gonna leave it up there as a relic. We took the screws out. Okay, we're gonna do Roosterendo, and I'm just gonna set them on one side of the Tacosaurus Rex. And Travis or the other. So we won't have to pull the board. You want to show the board off, don't you?
Well, do we use the old board or that one?
We should use the new board.
Well, no, I mean we could pull the new. You're all excited. Look at him. He wants to show us. The new board.
We should use the new board because that's a cool setup.
Okay, pull the new board down.
Commercial break, and then when we come back,
we got to do a commercial break.
Yeah, we can.
I forgot about this. This is new. Okay, let's do that. I'll get a beer.
Commercial break, and it'll be all set up.
Okay.
Since 2009. Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
So this here is the new Roosterendo board.
Yes.
We haven't put the words Roosterendo on it, but we kind of know where it is. It doesn't tip over. We don't have to use bricks. It's not janky. It's really good. Logan, thanks for finally. I mean, it's about 8 weeks too late? 10 weeks?
Give or take.
So, but anyways, it's here now. We're happy, and we're going to use it. So, friend of the show, good friend, Ricky Brabeck, had believe it or not, another one and a video submission of his bike.
Second video submission.
A second video submission.
Yeah.
So he's got a bike for Rooster, and it's going to be the first one that goes on the board. This is a big ask, but let's go.
What's up, guys? On this episode of Rooster Endo Questions, whatever, episode 357, 69, 1738, we got the good old-fashioned 450X built by JCR. Here we got the no Gucci seat. Keep the Gucci nice and pro circuit pipe. Stock wheels, Kenda tires, Renthal chain sprocket combo, Henson clutch. We still got one of them things. Not a lot of people know what that is right there. It's a good old kick start. But, we still got the button there. Then we got the Amy grips. We got the factory front brake, to stop this big old beast down. Factory suspension, pro circuit. Duh. Some badass throttle jockey graphics. Yeah, we got some worn out brake pads right there, but she's doing great. We don't use the rear brakes that much. We got airbox, dirty filter, twin air filter. Not doing too shabby, actually, but she's ready to rip. Gold fuel line, she's doing great. A Chirby's handguard, Scott stabilizer, IMS quick fill for all that racing that we do. We race the small bikes twice a year, but we're doing great. Check her out. Check out the ass of this thing. That's how you know you're riding right there. Little skid marks. Look like the damn underwears, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, Ricky. I was more curious about his hair. See, it looks like he's got like Elvis hair. Mm-hmm. You got kind of some of that going on too. If you did the bouffant, if you threw it up and you threw a little stuff on there, does your chick hang all over you like that too?
I don't got one, but
oh, you don't got one?
No,
the tall one. What happened to her?
Nothing.
Okay, just checking. So CRF 450X. This is the older version. This is the one. It's funny because Ricky was one of the first people that rode our test bike. Our when Honda switched it, and I think that was was it 19 that they made the new X?
Yes.
So he was out. We were doing some rally training, and I was riding it, and I'm like, "Hey Ricky, hop on this thing for photos." And we shot some photos of it, and it was the first time he'd ridden it as well. And he's like, he's a Honda guy. Mm-hmm. He's like, you could tell him, he's like, I don't know if I like this because, their bikes are set up, when like this bike, when you start talking about factory suspension, that involves a linkage and different forks, and it's very different. He likes the older bike. He really, really likes this bike. I don't.
You like the new one, right?
I like the new one better. I like the newer.
And this is the X, not the RX, right?
This is the X, yeah.
Okay.
So this is CRF 450X, and so this is the carbureted one. And they got these things to work so good for Baja and what they were doing and all the stuff. He won a National Hare and Hound Championship on one of these.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is a good bike. You really can't deny that this is a really good, roosting bike. But I could put it over here in the endo if I wanted to.
Well, you just said you don't really like it.
I don't like it.
So, and it is your show.
Right. I know. This is tough because, I think the hairstyle kind of threw me for a punch, though, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's probably because I'm jealous.
Well, I did think you were blow drying your hair before the show. So
right. Matt heard me vacuuming. I was actually vacuuming up the hair that I cut off my face. I had a bigger beard. And he thought he actually told your dad, he said, "Hey, I think Jimmy's blow drying his hair." And looked at each other like, what?
Yeah, I don't want to admit how long it took me to figure out what was going on.
This show's not about hair, by the way.
It's about dirt bikes.
You know what, Ricky? You're going to get a roost. You're getting a roost because friend of the show. You submitting video things. I don't think the tape's going to work, Logan. I think we're going to need to go to pins pretty soon. Is this how hard is this wood? Oh, here we go.
Really soft.
Oh, it's really soft. Oh, good.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, use pins.
Hold on. You might need more pins, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we need to. Somebody needs to go use their new credit card and buy some pins. Thank you, Ricky. We'll see you soon. Boot camp starts like tomorrow. Actually, it does start tomorrow. I don't know what you're doing, but starting tomorrow here. Taking a day off.
I'm learning how to make road books tomorrow, right?
Right. Matt's your new road book master.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm just the guy that's going to sit in the. I'm going to sit in the high chair. If you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Is this
Jeff Sweeney? Yeah.
right?
That's what you think.
Oh yeah. Oh, is this up on the thing? Get this one up
I'm
there.
getting it right now.
Yeah.
I forgot to put bad producing. I forgot to put Ricky's
Picture on
Ricky's
the.
picture up. So bad producer.
Well, he had a whole video. He did a walk around of his bike,
Yeah.
so it's all good.
He's got a 99 YZ 400 frame,
Right.
03 YZ 250F seat tank airbox subframe forks,
Right.
7 CRF 230 engine.
Okay. So so this is a Yonda.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw that motor and it didn't fit. And the first thing I thought of was my buddy Crazy Nate. Because Crazy Nate has both the CRF 230 and he liked the Yamahas. So I'm like going, this could be the best Nate bike ever, but it's too tall. But anyway, so keep going.
Pro circuit head pipe, custom mud pipe,
Do you think,
mid pipe.
So do you, you got to connect the custom head pipe to the custom tailpipe. Do you think Pro Circuit endorses that? Is that something you can you call up Mitch Payton and say, bro, you got a pipe for my
The
Yonda, my Yonda
03
two,
and 7.
what should you call it? Like it's a 230, but it's a 400, but it's got 250, so we'll call it a 300. His Yonda 300. You got a pipe for that, bro?
All the
What's the muffler? What kind of muffler is it?
CycleWorks.
CycleWorks muffler. Okay.
Big gun REV box. Engine intervals unknown, but big bore was mentioned by donor bike owner.
Right.
Olin shock. Choice of 18 or 19-inch rear wheel depending on where you are riding.
Right. Because you definitely would take this thing to the track.
Chinese copy of XR 200 carb. Don't laugh.
No, I'm not going to laugh because I I appreciate the effort it took to put this thing together. Is that an Olin shock on the thing?
Yes.
It is.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? This bike roosts pretty hard.
570 level?
No. This one roosts pretty hard because the effort it took to go and put this thing together. I want to. Can what's his name? Jeff Sweeney?
Yeah.
Jeff, send me some video of you ripping on this thing. Where is he from? It's got green grass, so it's probably back east someplace. It ain't here, but dude, I like that. I like that's some motorcyclemanship. That's good. I don't care how many parts you put on your 2022 KTM 500. That took some work, and if he actually rides it. I mean, if you built that, you would have to ride it, right? You'd want to ride. I want to know how old is Jeff? I want to know a little bit more about Jeff. He intrigues me. That guy's got some gumption. That's good. I like it.
This name is going to be butchered because the top half of all the letters are missing.
Was the printer having problems?
3 hamsters.
Oh no!
3 hamsters. That's his name.
The hamster.
Yeah,
There we
hamster.
The hamster. So it's 3 hamsters.
Okay.
2016 500 EXC double take mirrors, Cycra handguards, seat concept seat, black plastics, 3.1 liter tank, radiator guards, custom graphics, foot pegs, kickstand, tubeless rear.
It's no Yonda 300.
I think we should call it Honda Yaha. Oh, never mind. I
Hon-
thought I had something, but it was just really bad.
A Honda? Honda?
Honda Ha. Or,
Honda Ha.
Yeah, I don't know.
Honda Ha.
I had something, but
The Hamster has. I like the double take mirrors. Cycler handguards. Run those on my bikes. Let me see here. Seat Concept seat.
hey,
That just tilted the scale a little bit over. Has all this stuff. I think is this second page? Does it have a second page on it too?
No.
Or no, that's the other one. Two cookie cutter. It's two cookie cutter. You didn't cut the frame. You didn't cut the frame and fabricate an engine mount, so it's end to end.
Yeah.
A lot of times it depends on the order that we get
Yeah.
stuff. We could set the tone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I kind of put the Honda first to see like what the
Reaction would be?
because you got the freshest mind at the first bike.
Okay. And then it just
These
deteriorates after that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
got it.
That one.
Right. I'm glad we get bikes like this because that reminds me of me when I was a kid. Like I didn't have the trickiest thing, so I started modifying my XR80. I wanted a CR80, but I had an XR80, and I had to do stuff to it to make it more cool. And so I put a CR80 front fender on it, and that was a lot of work because it didn't just bolt on. The XR80 had 3 bolts, and the CR80 had 4. I mean, I had to figure this stuff out, and yeah, I ported the head in it while the motor was still in the frame, like without cleaning anything out because I just read about porting in some magazine. So yeah, I got the drill motor out and I found this grinding bit. So I mean, couldn't see it, but it is what it is. Okay.
Mike Pearson,
2016
500 EXC 6 days, FMF Q4,
I like the Q.
X
I
tuner.
I like the Q.
Sick ass tidy tail recently. Aluminum skid plate.
I don't like the aluminum skid plate. They resonate too much noise back at me when I'm riding, but they are more protective. They will save. Well, it depends on the brand and how it works, but it depends on what you're going to do with it. If you're going to really smash in the rocks, get an aluminum one. Actually, the TM Design Works work pretty good in the rocks tunes. Okay, let's back at it.
G2 Euro guards. Few bling pieces.
A few bling pieces.
Yeah.
I thought a 6 days was a bling piece.
Well, it has a lot. So he only added a few bling pieces, but this is a colorful motorcycle.
Yeah.
Actually, it looks like he kind of thought about it a little bit because I like the orange radiator guards.
Mm-hmm.
He could use some bulletproof design ones that were built anodized orange, and that'd be more blingy.
Yeah.
And then it matches the aluminum skid plate
and the triple clamps.
Oh yeah, that's stock. So
rotor guard rear
rotor guard. What brand? Doesn't say.
And lift handle Tusk.
It's got the lift handle.
Yeah.
I have those on a couple of our bikes. I'm not sure why, because it's like my fingers actually get stuck underneath them when I try to lift, but it is a good tie down or anchor point if you're running some soft bags, something like this. This is a pretty nice bike. It was funny when I first looked at it. You see where his helmet is at?
Yes.
It's like a big blob.
Well, that's like a adventure bike helmet on a dirt bike.
Well, yeah, he's got the pull down. The what are they?
Oh wait, does it have? Hold on, I think I accidentally have a block. Oh yeah, he does have the mirror and then a GPS unit there.
Oh, he's got GPS and the double take mirror. It looks like on the front. Just I couldn't figure out what the helmet was doing. It was like I'm like, is that an alien or is it? Was it like it was a superimposed picture? I'm not sure why I focused on that.
The helmet is color coordinated with the bike's
does
colors.
Look like color coordinated with the bike. Boy, this one's teetering. It's teeter-tottering. Sometimes I want to wait to make my decision before I see the next one, but I like this one better than the last one. I don't know why. So it's gonna go a little bit more onto the roost side of the scale. It's kind of ordinary, but it's kind of okay. Seat concept seat. Maybe that was the
deciding factor. That was the tipping point.
It definitely tipped it in the right direction. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
And that could change. Got to talk to seat concepts. Holy moly!
Blaine Dunn, 2020.
Blaine.
Yeah.
Okay, Blaine Dunn.
2020 300 EXCW Erzberg Rodeo all stock with pipe guard and FMF 2.1 pipe.
I want to say that there was a lot of good decisions made on keeping this bike all stock. And I like that. And I looked at it and I said, whoa, because the Erzberg graphic, is it 2022? 2020. The Erzberg graphics are pretty, they're gold. Is it gold?
Yeah.
Colors? Yeah.
Is it
It's a
gold
little
or is it
brown.
more like brown?
Brown. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh, you didn't like it? Yeah.
It's like a weird tan.
Yeah.
I'm not here for it.
Yeah. It looks like dirt.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is like I don't look at my motorcycle when I ride it, and if it's all stock, it probably works really good. And he's got a pipe guard and a pipe on it. It's roosting. It's good. It's a couple smart mods. It's right there.
Do you want to trade jobs for this next one?
I don't know. This sounds like a loaded question. Sure, I'll trade the jobs. Why is the list a mile long and it's got really complicated?
It's not
Okay,
complicated.
Logan. Here's the thing.
What's the name?
I'll get there. You don't have to coach me up on everything.
Well,
This is Jeff Drawway. That's
It's
Jeff
a 350, by the way.
Drawway. Oh, it's a 350. It's not what it says here. It says it's a 2020 KTM 300 EXCF 6 days. And so I would actually go, is it a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke? But there's an F on EXC, so that conflicts with 300. But you're saying it's a 350. Can I see the picture very quickly?
It's-
Okay, that is a 4-stroke.
yeah.
You know how I tell? Because it's orange. No, I'm just joking. That's a joke with my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it has the small pipe.
Yeah.
They're all
No
200s.
expansion
They're all 200s. My wife, she's like a 16-year-old chick driving around a Ferrari. It's no problem. Why did we switch jobs?
The mile long list.
Oh, because the list is so long. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Logan, here's this bike. It's got an Asturbis 3.0 gallon desert gas tank, an awesome Seat Concepts comfort seat, BRP rubber submount, and Scott steering damper. I was going to say I have all of that stuff on most of my bikes, but I don't have the 3.0 gallon gas tank. I have the bigger one. Actually, it says 3.9. But the printer, is our printer taking a crap?
I think we need to do that cleaning.
Cleaning, yeah. It's got some
Yeah.
lines on here that's cutting through the thing. I can see why Logan would have a tough time. BRP 38 millimeter bar risers. Cycra Pro Bend Ultra handguards. Trailtech Voyager Pro with dash lights. Takamoto front fork mounted ring LED turn signals. Shinko fatty front tire. Moto's Tractionator Desert HT rear tire. Takamoto spoke wheel weights. You sure Taco Mike didn't? Is this his personal bike and he's using a alias name? KTM rear brake disc protector. Recluse Radius CX auto clutch. Proline suspension resprung and revalve front and rear. Athena Get ECU with Takamoto tune. A Chirby silicone silencer guard. Super Sprox rear sprockets. Molecule Motorsport skid plate. Moto-minded dash. Baja Designs XL80 LED headlight with amber lens and Moto-minded super mount. P3 carbon exhaust heat shield. ProMoto billet, silencer and end cap. Takamoto Uber air filter upgrade kit. Ducati replacement fuel pump kit from Takamoto. Takamoto smog delete kit. ProMoto billet kickstand. Okay, Logan, what do you think?
So it doesn't have a front discard, so it's going a little lower.
Higher. Oh, you like the disc guards?
No, it just everybody has
Okay.
it. So
yeah, because that usually
turning
tips
point.
them into the endo position.
yes,
The heavier front end.
but it's got something weird. The tube's really big for on the gas tank, like the vent tube is really big.
Oh, let me look at it. The vent tube is really big. Wow. Maybe it has a vent tube heat reduction device.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it on the list, but we should talk about that. Do you need to reduce the
concepts?
Yeah,
So
that's good. Do you think you need to reduce the heat in the vent tube? Or maybe it's a vent tube gas hose protector.
maybe it's to make it more emissions compliant.
Maybe it's dual way venting. So it doesn't have to, the vent doesn't have to go both directions in a single tube. It can go in one way and out the other.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. Okay. So that's really distracting you.
No, I just
Okay.
thought it was.
You thought it was
Different.
something I would hyper focus on and get all lost about?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I think you know, I look at that bike and I go, there's one thing on there that probably makes it roost for you is that silencer protector thing.
Yeah.
Because that way when you're riding around and you start doing like one of those little like cattywampus cartwheel things, if the silencer hits you in the head, it's not going to hurt as much.
Yeah. Okay.
Jimmy, stop it. Hey, since when we're doing all the segments,
Oh, we have something in the box.
Kinda.
It's kind of out of the box already, though.
Yeah.
well, the one part is.
Yeah.
So we got remember these?
Yes.
Takamoto is one of our sponsors, and if you want some awesome bling, speaking of bling, like that last bike, and you want different colored oil caps, even if you have a red KTM, they have a red one for you. Actually, that fits in a Honda. I wonder, do Honda threads and KTM threads, are they the same? I don't know this. But anyways, he makes them for Hondas. He makes blue ones too, which are obviously for Huskies. Those are the white KTMs, but the blue ones look good in them. So he has these blingy, awesome caps from Takamoto. So I'm going to put one on one of my bikes today and bling it out. So we've had those before. But we have another thing. What's in this box, Logan?
Voyager.
Well, no, open it up and find
Oh,
out.
an
Don't read
aluminum
it.
dock.
We've been talking about them for a while, and now I finally got them. They're probably not available anymore because of that Cyber Monday thing. But so this is Voyager's Trailtech Voyager aluminum dock. This is if you're going to do a little bit more, we'll call it robust riding, where you're going to put your Voyager to the test, and it's going to be bouncing around, and it's going to get in dust and dirt and mud and all this stuff. See if you can figure this thing out. So there's the Voyager, and you gotta mount it on that thing. Here's the kid test. If it passes the kid test, if the kid can mount it, then it's good. So you brought your sister into the show, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Or is she on like somehow she got grounded or on restriction? Whoa. All done. Did everybody see that? Mounted up and solid. So you're in trouble. That's why you're here? No. Yeah, just checking. That was good. So the Trailtech Voyager aluminum mount. So it just unscrewed like that, and then it very simply comes out. It has better buttons here. That's where all the contacts and stuff made. So if you're looking for the awesomest GPS, why? Because it has what?
Buddy tracking.
Buddy tracking. That way you can see where Logan's at when you're out riding with him because he's so far behind. So, he stays within range, but still pretty far behind. But he's working on it, right?
Yeah.
When we go on trail riding, buddy, it's got to rain first.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else on the agenda?
There are some more questions if you want to get to them.
Okay,
but we also
these other ones here.
No, there were some better ones in the chat.
Okay, let's run them very quick. Let's do question roulette, quick fire, rapid fire roulette questions.
Okay. Here, Logan, I'll read this one really quick.
Okay.
So from Facebook user, cleaning an injector, have a shop professionally clean it / just clean it myself / or just carry a spare and wait for it to clog?
So in all of my riding with fuel injected bikes, all of them, I've had 2 injectors go bad, and they warned me for so long. They didn't just instantly go bad. So if you're worried about it, carry a spare one. I have a Motion Pro fuel injection cleaner, so I can clean them, and they generally work after it. The one that I've cleaned twice now finally didn't seem like it was working that good, so I just put a new one in. And I bought a new one, a spare new one. I just have a new one that's sitting around ready to go in one of the 15 bikes that I have that are fuel injected. It's never going to be a problem in. So does that answer the question?
I believe so.
Okay.
Okay. Logan, you want to read Rodney Johnson at the bottom of it?
Yeah. Oh,
That has too many words for him.
I use Cush Drive Hub on my Beta 500 to help with the longevity of the motor. Curious on your thoughts on this approach. I do light adventure mixed with tight technical. How many miles do you think until that theory would potentially pay off, if at all? Planning to swap the rear wheel assembly out for the stock one for the tight stuff tough away.
I think you're being overcautious. I don't think there's a big need for this. If you were really riding hard on the street, putting high loads on the bike, and I doubt you're doing that, I would think it would be a little more cautious, but I think it's just you're being overcautious and extra safe. Let me know when you're ready to sell your bikes. I'd like to buy them from you.
Okay, Logan, there's one more.
There's nothing wrong with being extra safe if it makes you feel better.
Unscrew at top of legs and hit handlebars. Ever heard of this happening?
Unscrew what? What are we talking about? Your brain?
Sorry. So I don't know what's going on. This is the second time it's happened where I don't think Logan's getting the full question. So this is from Robert Covington, 2016 500 EXE 6 days. Both fork cartridges have come unscrewed at top of legs and hit handlebars. Ever heard of this happening?
Fork cartridges have kind of screwed at the top. Well, are we talking about? Wait, they hit the handlebars. Are we talking about the whole forks?
That's what I
or
would
the
think.
cartridges or the preload adjusters. The cartridge can't get outside of the cap.
But those you can't even get those unscrewed.
Yeah.
The triple clamp's tight.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, something's goofed up. That sounds really, really weird. I mean, so he's talking about the whole fork top coming unscrewed, and I've never heard of that happening in all of my time. I've heard of the cartridges coming unscrewed inside of the cap and falling down.
Hogan's 85. It's fucking like it.
Oh, it happened on an 85.
Unscrewed all the way and hit the bars.
Oh, okay.
With tight triple clamps.
With tight, and it was properly torqued as far as you knew.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So, okay, now we have heard of it. We had an experience inside here. I've never heard of that. It just sounds like a prior proper preparation would prevent piss poor performance.
Absolutely.
Okay, next.
I think that's it.
I saw something up there a little bit higher that when you scroll up to. No, I think where were you at last time with the
where I got up to?
Okay. Well, I hope you learned something on tonight's show. I sure did. Did you learn anything, Logan?
Yeah.
So we will be back next week, next Tuesday. I don't know how the heck we can keep producing these things, Matt, but you're doing a good job. That's another compliment.
Thank you. It's a good thing you weren't watching the audio sync tonight.
That's okay. It's like if my my lips are flapping, it's probably like doesn't matter. So we will see you. Where are we going to see you, Logan?
Out on the trail.
Okay, cheers, everybody. Hey, I'm going to thank, by the way, can I get my sponsor reading real quick?
Yeah.
You thought we were going to slip up. I got to thank Yamaha, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC. Hey, it's time for Climb Windstopper gloves, by the way. So if you are looking for some gloves, they have some really nice lightweight gloves. They're called the Inversion Glove. Is that the right one? The Inversion Glove?
Yep.
The Inversion Glove. Those are the things you need. DDC Sprockets, Trail Tech for the Voyager Pro, Taco Moto, Seat Concepts, and Bulletproof Design. So with that, we will sign off, and now we'll see you out on the trail. Cheers.